The Security Guard and the Shadow Figure. Tom was a security guard who worked the night shift at the old Willowbrook Asylum. The place had been abandoned for years, but someone had to make sure no one broke in. Tom didn't believe in ghosts until that night. It was past midnight when Tom walked down the long, dark hallway on the second floor. The air felt cold even though it was summer. His flashlight flickered as he checked each empty room. Then he saw it. At the end of the hall stood a tall black figure. It had no face, just a shadow darker than the darkness around it. Tom's heart pounded. He blinked hard, thinking his eyes were playing tricks on him. But when he looked again, the shadow was still there. Hello, Tom called out, his voice shaky. The figure didn't move. Tom took a step forward, then another. His radio, clipped to his belt, suddenly crackled to life. A whisper, soft and garbled, came through. "Get out." Tom froze. The voice didn't sound human. The shadow figure then raised one long, thin arm, pointing right at him. Tom turned and ran. Behind him, the radio screeched with more whispers, growing louder and angrier. He didn't stop until he was outside, gasping for air. The next day, Tom asked the building manager about the asylum's history. The man's face turned pale. "You saw something on the second floor?" the manager asked. Tom nodded. "Years ago," the manager said, "a patient hanged himself right there in that hallway. They say his spirit never left." That night, Tom quit his job. He never went back to Willowbrook Asylum, but sometimes, when he's alone in the dark, he still hears the whispers and wonders if the shadow figure is watching him. The factory worker's phantom coworker. Tom had just started working the graveyard shift at the old steel factory. The pay was good, but the place gave him the creeps. The machines groaned like tired giants, and the shadows stretched long under the flickering lights. On his third night, Tom saw something strange. Between the rows of clanking metal, a man in old faded overalls walked slowly. His boots dragged against the floor, but they made no sound. The man's face was pale, his eyes hollow. He didn't seem to notice Tom, just kept moving between the machines like he was checking them. Tom rubbed his eyes. When he looked again, the man was gone. The next night, he saw him again. This time, the man stopped near a broken press machine. He turned his head slightly as if listening. Then, without a word, he vanished into the dark. Tom's skin prickled. He decided to ask his supervisor, Mr. Harris. "Hey, is there another night worker here? Older guy, wearing old-fashioned overalls?" Mr. Harris froze. His face turned white. You saw him?" Tom nodded. Mr. Harris took a shaky breath. 50 years ago, a worker named Joe died in an accident. That press machine you saw him near? It crushed him. They say his ghost still walks the floor." Tom's blood ran cold. That night, he saw the ghost again. This time, the man, Joe, was standing right in front of the broken press. His hollow eyes locked onto Tom's. Then, slowly, he raised a bony finger and pointed at the machine. A loud clang echoed through the factory. The press shuddered, its gears grinding like rusty bones. Tom stumbled back as the machine roared to life, even though it hadn't worked in years. Metal screamed as the press slammed down, right where Tom had been standing seconds before. Joe's ghost flickered, his face twisted in warning. Then, he was gone. Tom ran out of the factory and never returned. Some say if you work the graveyard shift there, you'll still see Joe, the factory's phantom worker, trying to save others from the machine that killed him. And if he points at you, run. The hotel night clerk's vanishing guest. It was a stormy night when Jake, the night clerk at the old Grandview Hotel, heard the front door creak open. A woman stood there dripping wet in a white dress. Her long hair clung to her face, and her skin was pale as moonlight. "Are you okay?" Jake asked, concerned. The woman didn't answer. She just stared at the floor, shivering. Jake quickly handed her a towel and checked her in. "Room 213, he said, handing her the key. "Do you need anything else?" The woman shook her head silently and walked toward the elevator. Jake watched her go, feeling uneasy. There was something strange about her, something off. The next morning, Jake got a call from housekeeping. "Room 213 is flooded," the maid cried. "The bed, the floor, everything is soaking wet." Jake rushed upstairs. The room was a mess. Water dripped from the ceiling, the sheets were soaked, and the carpet squished under his shoes. But the strangest part? There was no sign of the woman. Jake checked the records. The guest had checked in at midnight, but there was no name, just an empty space where her signature should be. Curious, Jake searched the hotel's old guest logs. His blood turned cold when he found an entry from 10 years ago. June 12th. A woman drowned in the pool. Name: Sarah Miller. Last seen wearing a white dress. Jake's hands trembled. The description matched the woman from last night. That evening, Jake couldn't stop thinking about it. He decided to check the pool area, just to be sure. The water was still, the lights dim. Then he saw something that made his heart stop. Floating face down in the pool was a woman in a white dress. Jake jumped in, pulling her out. But when he turned her over, there was no one there. The pool was empty. A cold whisper brushed his ear. "Thank you for letting me rest." Jake never saw the woman again, but sometimes, on stormy nights, guests say they hear splashing in the pool and see a pale figure in a wet, white dress, watching from the shadows. If you like the video, please give it a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.